Hey, this is a video for vidding newbies who are just making a Fanvid for the very first time, and I'm going to be sharing what I think are the essential points to consider in the Fanvid making process for any Fanvid. I've made this document that clearly outlines the 6 points that I'm going to be discussing, and if you want to look at this yourself, I've put a link for it in the description below. If you'd like to read things, then there it is. I'll be using my latest Fanvid as a reference point or an example when I'm explaining things in this video, so you can also see the finished product of this Fanvid in the link below. So step number 1 is getting your raw footage, and in my case my raw footage is TV show episodes, because that's what I'm doing my Fanvid on. Obviously you can do a Fanvid from a movie or from videos of your favourite singer, it doesn't matter. Either you get it from the raw footage from a DVD that you put onto your computer, or you can get it off the internet, which I find is a more common way nowadays. And most people use Utorrent in conjunction with the website the Pirate Bay to get their good quality videos. So you basically can download anything really from the Pirate Bay website, and then with Utorrent you can basically download it. So type into Google, download Utorrent. The first one here has a tick next to it, so it's not very virusy hopefully, and it says www.utorrent.com, so you can use that then. Download it. As you can see, I have it here. This is what Utorrent looks like. It's pretty self-explanatory. Then you find the Pirate Bay, and the website looks like this, and you can type in whatever your TV show is, and in my case my Fanvid is from the TV show Charmed. Type it in, click enter, search for it, and comes up with a list of results that you can download, all the different seasons, etc, etc. Now a quick tip for the Pirate Bay is you would want to click on this button that says SE, which stands for seeders, because the more seeders that a video has, the faster it will download, and this orders it from the most seeders down to the least seeders. As you can see, here we are, and the first one here will be the quickest download. You can try and click on it, read the comments, see if it's good quality. People say it's good quality, then that's a good sign. Then all you do is click get this torrent. Do not click download torrent. This website's a bit shifty. You can get viruses if you're not careful if you click on things. So click get this torrent. That's what you want to click. Click it, and it should either it'll ask you to what you want to open it with, and you click new uTorrent, or it'll just do it automatically. And here are all the things, and you just click OK, blah blah blah, and you just select the episodes that you want. And that's you initially downloading all the footage from the show that you are planning on bidding on. There you go. Okay, so step number 2 is organizing your footage, and this is like really important. And in this step, there's like 2 stages to it. The first stage is, now that you have all your episodes and all your stuff from your TV show, you need to extract the scenes that you know your character is going to be in. So assuming you've picked a character or a couple to focus on, you are going to go through all your material, and you're going to make sure that you're going to save all the things that are only relevant to what you want. So like I've done here, now I don't have the original episodes anymore because I deleted them, but what I did is I divided it into seasons, and then for example in season 3 I have all the episodes listed, and within each of these episode folders the scenes here are only scenes of the character I've chosen, which is Cole Turner and his relationship with Phoebe, so it's all relevant. If you get a bit lazier, as you can see I did, you might just want to only render it once, so this video only contains Cole scenes, but it's all in one file. I use my video editing software to do this, and the video editing software I use is Sony Vegas Movie Studio, but you can use any video editing software. I mean, depending on on what you want to be able to achieve. So there you go, that's what you do. You have to make sure that all the stuff is only nothing unnecessary. You want to be able to have lots of files that are all easily accessible and they're all relevant. So there you go. Next stage of it is once you've chosen a specific Fanvid project to do, and you have the song and you know what the idea is behind it. Once you've chosen that idea, you're like, okay, this is my Fanvid. It's going to be a charmed Fanvid, it's going to be a Cole Turner Fanvid, and you know what song you want to do, and you know the ideas and the themes behind it. Then you go through your existing clips of Cole Turner, for example, and you go through like each episode if you want. You go through them and you see what scenes or what parts might be good to use in your Fanvid. So you're not going to use absolutely everything in here for one Fanvid. Some of it might not like match with your lyrics, so you have to be good at discerning what is going to be more relevant and what's not going to be. I'm in the middle of doing this process for my Fanvid that I'm doing at the moment, which is called Forsaken, and you make a separate subfolder for your Fanvid that you're going to do. Usually your Fanvid's maybe called the title of the song that you've chosen, and you maybe make separate subfolders for the different themes that are in this song, and inside each of these folders you'll have different types of different videos, and all these videos can be directly used for your Fanvid. They all match with the lyrical content of the song, and this helps just make everything a lot more easy to deal with when you go down to actually putting all the clips together, because you know exactly what kind of clips you can choose from, and you know exactly what they are and why they're going to be good for your video, and you can imagine how you're going to use them. It's way better to be organized, so that's what you do. So to do that, you just get the original episode, for example, like this one, and a lot of this stuff you're not going to want to use, so you're not going to want to use a lot of this stuff, so it just depends basically. And so what I did is I imported this into my video editing software, and as you can see, I have already edited only the things that I'm going to want to use. It's only Cole Turner, it's only his face. I edited out any faces that I didn't want to have on it, so it's only him. He's sitting eating his Chinese food, looking at his wedding ring. It's all really relevant to what I want to portray in my Fanvid, and that's what you do. You go through all your footage, maybe like episode by episode, and you select scenes that you go, that would be great to use in my Fanvid, so I'm going to use that. And that's what you do, and you'll end up with everything nicely organized in one folder that's only for your Fanvid, and it's all nicely here, and you know exactly what to do. So the third step is all about the song and how you deal with that. So after you have a specific idea for a Fanvid and you're going to do this one Fanvid, you will have chosen a song, and so you need to download it from the internet or get it from your iPod or a CD or whatever, like so. You can get it from the internet. So you have to have that and put it in your folder, like so. Make sure you have the song right here. You should also copy and paste the lyrics into a document. So as you can see from my Forsaken Fanvid, I have the lyrics all here. So you can make reference to that and annotate it if you want to. You might also want to have another document for like rough planning. As you can see here, I was counting how many screams there are in the song, and I talked about the themes in the song. So that just helps you plan it out a little bit. You might want to, there might be some like blank space at the beginning of your song, some silence, not some unnecessary silence, so especially if you get it from YouTube. So you might want to trim the start and the edge to make sure everything's really tidy, so there's no like silence part of the song. Make sure the file is only music from start to end. So you might have to do that, you might not, depends. The next thing is pretty hard to kind of explain, but you might want to make the song a little bit shorter, and this is often done with Fanvids, and usually what's done is a chunk of the song is taken from the middle
just to make it quite shorter. And usually what's taken out of the song is the chorus, because usually it's about the third chorus when it's getting kind of redundant and it's a little bit repetitive or whatever, so you might want to take that out. And so in my experience, I've always taken out the chorus of the song because it's usually repeated quite a bit and you don't really want it to be repeated too many times because it's a bit boring. And so in this case, in my Forsaken Fanvid, it's all about intuition. You kind of just have to use your own kind of common sense, and you don't want it to be too abrupt, because you're basically going to be taking a chunk out of the song, and if someone can notice that a chunk's been taken out of the song, you don't want that. In my first Fanvid called Never Surrender, the transition is much more seamless and you can hardly tell that anything's been done to the song, whereas this one, just the way it was just hard to kind of take something out of it. So what I did is I took out this little part of the chorus here. I could have taken the whole chorus out like this, but I found that going straight from tell me to the yeah 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 was too abrupt. So if I say tell me why and then I just go to yeah yeah yeah, it was a little bit less abrupt. So here's the original song, and it has that chorus part in it. And in my Fanvid, what you will notice is right about here there is a split in the song, and it goes straight from, it should go from tell me why do I have to beg, but it goes from like this. Right there was a kind of an obvious breakage in the song, but I don't think it's that bad, to be quite honest. And if you just get used to doing that, it's a good idea. You might kind of soften the edge, to soften the abruptness of it. You might want to kind of make the files go into each other, so there's a little bit of a merge, so it kind of seamlessly goes into each other a little bit. Sometimes that helps, although don't overdo it. You obviously don't want to do it in the middle of the singer singing, so you might want to go from an instrumental and then cut it there where it's an instrumental. Just make sure it fades really nicely. The next thing that is like super important, and as you can see I've done it here, is adding markers to your song. Now you can do this in Movie Studio, Sony Vegas. It just depends on what you're using, but adding markers is so important to your song. Basically what you have to do is you go through the song bit by bit. You want to zoom in, take every single bit individually, and every time there's a beat, you're going to want to put a marker here that says a beat, and you just have to basically listen to it and kind of, oh shit, you have to listen to the song and constantly replay it and look for the little wavelengths here, look for whenever it kind of peaks and whenever it goes down. Now, some songs are easier to do this than others. Some of them have really clear drum beats, some of them don't, and this one was a little bit harder to do it with, but you try and hear the beat, you go through the song, you put a little marker with beat on it every time. You just click here, click N for marker, type in B, that's how you do it. You can also add markers whenever there's a lyrical change. Whenever there's a change in the music that you might want to like cue your clips to kind of adhere to that. So first lyric, as you can see here, I added markers for the lyrics, I added markers for the beat, I added markers whenever there was like a guitar thing or things like that. So you want to add markers and it helps. Boom. 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 You have to do this for the whole song. It takes quite a while usually, but it's so worth it. It makes things a lot easier. Here you see the guitar here. So that really helps. Add markers to your stuff, to your song. Okay, so the next component you might want to have in your Fanvid is a voiceover. And the first thing you need to think about when you're having a voiceover is usually your footage, the TV show or whatever, is going to have the lines that this character is speaking with background music playing, like pianos or violins or whatever. So sometimes if you put that directly into your music, you'll hear the clashing of your own music and the background music, which doesn't sound very nice. So ideally what you want to do is try and get rid of the background music that's originally on the footage and just isolate the vocals by themselves. So what I would recommend is you download the software Audacity, and it's free. And there's no software out there that's going to completely 100% isolate the vocals where there's absolutely nothing else in the background. It's usually not possible, but sometimes you can do it to a very good degree where it's almost perfect. So it depends on what footage you're using. It just depends, but it's definitely worth giving it a shot, and it's better than not doing anything at all. It usually helps a great deal. So I'm going to put a link in the description below for a YouTube video that explains how to isolate vocals on Audacity, and you can just follow the steps, or you can also look at my quick summary version of how to do it in Words, which I made for myself, which I'll put in the link in the description below too. And so once you've isolated the vocals by themselves, you might have something like this, for example. So I'm going to use this and I'm going to put it in my music, and what you might come across in some Fanvids is they'll have voiceovers, but it'll be drowned out by the music, so can't really hear them. All you can hear is the overwhelmingly loud music, and you can hardly make out what they're saying underneath it all. So to remedy this, you're going to want to lower the volume just at the point where the voiceover is starting, so the music's a little bit lower and you can hear what the person's saying. And in Sony Vegas, how you do this is you right click on the audio track that has your music, and you click this one, insert or remove envelope, and you click volume, or you can just click Shift V on your keyboard, and then this bluish line will appear in the middle, and then all you do is you right click on the blue line to add points, and then what you can do with these points is you can lower the volume like with a curvish bend like this, so you can lower it here like that. Oops. And then you can add another one here, and you can increase it again, and this way it won't be too loud, so like so, as you can hear.
There's always a choice, Cole.
And now you can clearly hear what the people are saying over the guitar. And another quick thing, you probably want to add a voiceover whenever there's instruments playing in the song. I just know I personally like that better. I don't think it's that nice whenever there's a person speaking over the lyrics or the singer of the song. It doesn't sound too good in my opinion. So if your song has any instrumental parts in it, I think it's nicer whenever you put your voiceovers there. So now you have all your organized footage, you have your song organized, you know how to do your voiceovers, and basically what you do now is you put it all together. In the Fanvid I'm working on right now called Forsaken, I'm in the process of putting it all together. And what I emphasize when you're putting it together is you really listen to the lyrics of the song and you make sure that everything fits really well. The clips that you choose should reflect the lyrics very well. For example, in this part here, the lyrics are saying all that's left is a memory, and he's standing here kind of remembering him and her together, like you can see right now. There's an overlay of them in bed together, and he's remembering that. He's remembering that while he while he's standing there. And obviously the beats are very important whenever you're changing clips. Always change clips right on the beat. That's why the markers are there. That's the whole reason for it. And you can use the beats very cleverly in terms of, for example here, you can use the action in the actual clip to match with the beats. He smashes the glass whenever there's a strong kind of beat or scream, kind of, so try and match everything up nicely. Don't go too overboard with the transitions or anything ugly like that. Simple crossfades will generally do quite well, and you just put it all together. Okay, so finally you might want to add some effects to your Fanvid, and in this video I wasn't planning on going into detail on how to add specific effects and how to use them, because that would be then specific to the program Sony Vegas, and I don't want to make something that's too specific for one particular video editing software. And so if you look at the link below, you will see that I've done a written version of what I've basically said in this video, and it goes into a little bit of detail on different effects you might want to consider. But at the end of the day, you can kind of figure it all out on your own by exploring all the effects that your video editing software has to offer, messing about with it, experimenting, and also by watching a lot of other fan vids and getting like inspiration and ideas from their effects that they use. And that's all I'm really going to say about effects. I did say, however, in the link below about a few things that do put people off fan vids, and one of them is the incorrect aspect ratio. So whenever you see a fan vid that has black bars on the side of the video, it can look pretty off-putting, because nowadays everything's in widescreen, so your YouTube is going to be in widescreen, and you are going to see black sides to the video if it's not in widescreen, the actual video itself. And unfortunately with a show like Charmed, I think it's not on widescreen automatically, so when you download the footage from Utorrent, you're not going to get it in widescreen, so you're going to have to mess with the footage a little bit to fix that. And I had to figure this out by myself, and it was annoying because unfortunately you can't really change a video. You can't really change the black boxes on it without compromising on either. You're gonna either have to cut out parts of the video or stretch it, and it looks horrible if it's stretched. So basically what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to basically cut out some of the top and the bottom of the video to make it look good. It looks better, and I think I'd recommend doing this because all fan vids that are good tend to have a nice widescreen aspect ratio, 16:9. So to do this on Sony Vegas, I know I don't want to really show too much in particular on Sony Vegas, but I do recommend this video editing software. So if you have it, you have capabilities on how to do this. So I would recommend right-clicking on the video itself, going on to Properties, going on to Media, and you'll find that the pixel aspect ratio is set onto Square, and I would change this to something else that would be widescreen. My personal preference is a little bit widescreen, but not too widescreen, so I put on this one, so just makes it slightly more widescreen. And then what you will do is you'll go into Event, Pan, and Crop. Like, as you can see, it still has the black bars on either side of the video, so to get rid of them, you're going to click on this icon here, and you basically have the ability to do this. You can change how much of the screen you see, but to make sure that it completely gets rid of the black bars, on this part here where it says source and it says maintain aspect ratio, you're going to put no, and when it says stretch to fill the frame, you're going to click yes. And then all you do is you're going to resize this little box here until there are no black bits on either side, and you can see right here now it fills the entire screen, looks much better. And obviously you don't necessarily want to have their head completely cut off, so you can kind of go up and down and decide where it looks best on the screen, and you can do that with each clip, and that's what I tend to do. Unfortunately there's no quick fire way of completely making every clip all of a sudden in a nice aspect ratio like that, so you're going to have to do it with each of the clips, but it's not that much of a hassle, and I recommend it. So now you can see that the clip is now no black bars, which is very, very nice. So I would do that if I were you. Once you add a lot of effects to your video, when it comes to Sony Vegas and probably other things too, when you play back, it can sometimes jam a little bit and you don't get a very fluid playback. You can't tell there, but basically it's not showing on the screen what it's meant to be showing. See, it just catches up there now. It's meant to be his face, but it's lagging basically. So a way to fix this is to select parts of the video that you want. Now usually you can't select too much, but trust me, it's better to be able to select a little bit of it than not be able to play any of it at all. So you can select a certain amount, and then what you would do is you would click Shift B or go to Tools, Build Dynamic RAM Preview, and once you do this, what it will do is it will show you as it goes through each of the frames, frame by frame. It'll slowly build up a dynamic RAM preview, and you just wait until it gets to the end, and then it will go back to frame 0 again. When I did this originally, it only was able to build a dynamic RAM preview for like 3 frames. It was really pathetic, so I found out a way to fix this. Now this obviously depends on how good your computer is, but you can go on to Options, Preferences, and under the Video tab, there's a little thing here that says Dynamic RAM Preview Max, and right now it was only on 200, so that explains why it wasn't able to play a very large amount back. As you can see here, my max available is 7,000, about 7,000, so if you want to be able to play a lot back nice and smoothly, you would just increase the number to the highest you can, like 7,000 for example. Click OK. This little message is going to come up and you're just going to ignore it, and what I'd recommend is that every time you're finished, you go back and you put it back onto a low number, because if it stays on a high number for too long, like it says here, it uses up a lot of processing and a lot of memory. It's very memory intensive, as it says, so only do it for when you have to play back something. And what happens is once you add a lot of effects to your video, and it tends to lag more. So if you have videos that have absolutely no effects on them and it's very simple and there's not much going on, then it usually can play back quite well. But if you have a lot of effects, then it gets more difficult. So I put it onto 7,000 there. So what I would do then is go up here, select whatever I want right here, and then click Shift B or Tools, Build Dynamic RAM Preview. That's what you do basically. As you can see here, it's doing it frame by frame, frame 5, 6, 7, 8. So this might take a while. Once it's done, what you'll find is the frames will go back to 0, and that's how you know it's done. And then all you have to do is click play, and it'll play everything very smoothly with no lagging whatsoever. See? Very nice. So that's the secret on how to play things back with no lag on Sony Vegas anyway. So hopefully I've helped you on giving you some advice and some ideas on how to go about making some of your first fan vids, and giving you a good foundation on how to kind of go about making them.